In this video, I'd like to look at an Android app which demos Coil, one of the newer libraries for loading an image in an Android app from a file on the internet. The code can be found at the URL seen. I'm going to start with a hello world and build the project, since much of the work is in editing the AndroidManifest and build.gradle. And so I'm going to sort of have some files that I would use to sort of build up from hello world. And those are the files that I posted. So first I'm going to look at the AndroidManifest. I have not sent the Gradle. I did not include the Gradle in the zipped up file, but I do have comments in the Kotlin that tell what to change. But here in the AndroidManifest is a permission to use the internet, which we will need. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm not going to copy over the whole manifest because the manifest includes the package and I didn't use the same name. So the package is different and I don't want to throw off my app. So here is the manifest, the Android manifest. There, I've given it permission. I want to do an additional thing. One of the files may be, if a file is on an HTTP and a not encrypted site, then you need, in addition, this attribute to the application tag. So I'm going to put that here. Okay, so that's the editing of my Android manifest, to add permission to the internet and to allow the usesCleartextTraffic. So I can use HTTP. Okay, next step I want to do, I'll go to the layout and make the layout. So I'm going to copy, in this case, copy all, Control-A, Control-C, and find the layout here in res and layout. There it is. Look at it in code and just paste that in. Okay. And it is a text view that just says "1agree" and then two image files. Image views. And that's it for those two. Then I'm going to look at the Kotlin code, and that's also going to be where I will have my comments that will remind me what to do in the Gradle. So again, the package, I don't want to copy the package since I didn't name it the same thing. So I'm going to copy everything but the package and go to the main activity and paste in everything but the package. Should do some complaining. It's doing some complaining because I haven't fixed the Gradle yet. And so the imports don't make sense until we have the Gradle. The Gradle will inform the imports, and then the imports will inform the code. Okay, so here are my comments. Here's a link to Coil. And Coil, being one of the newer library, is sort of in Kotlin, or more Kotlin-friendly than, say, Picasso or Glide, which are older libraries for doing the sort of same. So it's going to be more Kotlin-y. It's going to have a nicer, simpler syntax. But here's what I want in the build.gradle, the module, this implementation. So I'm copying that. I'm finding in the Gradles, build.gradle, scroll down to the implementations. Paste that in there. When you edit the Gradle, you must sync. And then I'm going to go back to main activity, and it's refreshed and understands now all the Coil things. This one is grayed out. There was, in addition to downloading an image from the internet and handling caching of images for you, the Coil library offers up some transformations of the images. So this one turned the circle crop, turned the image into a circle, but I had chosen an image that was sort of more rectangular than square, and so it was not very effective to be turned it into a circle. So I opted instead for the rounded corners. But that's why this circle crop, I had used it at one point and then took it out. So that's why it was in the imports, but is grayed out because I'm not using it. So if I were being more efficient, I would take it out. Okay, so I fixed the layout, I've fixed the Gradle, I've fixed the manifest, and now we're ready to talk about the code, but there's not much code to talk about. Here I'm connecting the interface image view to a code version. I am picking a URL for my image. I went to Wikimedia, some Wangri JPEG, and here is the code for loading the URL into the image view. So this is the part where sort of Coil has some advantage over Glide or Picasso, that this particular line is a lot sleeker here in Coil. And here I'm doing the second image, and again, connect to in the interface. This time I'm using a URL with an HTTP, so I threw it up on my site, and I'm using an HTTP, so that's why I had that clear text traffic thing in the AndroidManifest. You remember that uses clear text traffic is true. That attribute was because of this HTTP. And then here's the image view, and we're loading up the URL, and then we're adding some other features. Crossfade is sort of the image will come into view, but the timing is sort of so fast that you won't see it. But there are more parameters one can add to sort of slow it down and make it visible. Placeholder is the image that you see until the image is downloaded. So that if I had slowed down the crossfade, then you would see this for a while until the fade took complete effect. And then finally, here's the transformation. So we are rounding the corners, and there's a parameter to determine sort of how rounded the corners are. Okay, so let me stop the hello world that I had up at the start and bring in this just to see that it does indeed work. I should have two images when it loads and runs, and the lower one should have these rounded corners. The actual image, so you see down here the rounded corners. The actual image does not have rounded corners. That was done for it just for the show in by Coil. Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to show you. This Coil library, this newer library that is more sort of Kotlin friendly.